Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angelica again. It's been a while. I think it's been like a month, maybe 2 months. I'm not really keeping track at this point. I wanted to do this video mostly because number one, I've been gone, and not that I owe you an explanation, but I've been wanting to do this video from the beginning. I've always wanted to use my platform and any type of audience that I've ever had to bring awareness to topics that aren't spoken of on a daily basis. So today is a kind of where I've been at, and also I want to focus on postpartum depression. So for many of you guys that don't know me, I'm 28 years old and I had my second child on February 1st of this year. I have a 12-year-old currently. And as of lately, even from the beginning, I always had a very rough pregnancy overall with my second daughter. I developed gestational diabetes at around 7 months of pregnancy. And when they tell you that your health is wealth, they really mean that, because when you're sick, a lot of other things come along with it. I always suffered from anxiety due to traumatic issues that happened in my life in the past, and me becoming sick during pregnancy just kind of heightens everything else for me, unfortunately. Once I developed diabetes, I felt like there was no way for me to express myself. No one, unless you actually went through that, could understand. I was put on insulin, which just shows you how bad my diabetes was at the time. After that, my diabetes was controlled. I started managing it really well, that even at the end of my pregnancy, I didn't even need insulin at that point, because I just mastered what I could eat, what I couldn't eat, started exercising, eating better, and I regulated by myself, and I learned how to do that with my body. I didn't have a plan to give birth, but my plan was to have a vaginal birth, right? Because that's what I had with my previous child. So I'm like, my body knows, even though it's been 12 years, my body knows what to do. That wasn't necessarily true. I was induced at 39 weeks of pregnancy. The inducing process wasn't all that bad because I had an epidural at the end of the day. But it was just difficult for me because my daughter basically did not come down. I was dilating. And during the fact that I was dilating, my daughter did not come down at all. So I had to get a C-section done after 27 hours of labor, unfortunately. And that alone was traumatizing for me, because when you have an epidural, you don't feel pain, right? But I was so tired that I was struggling. And I have to give you the backstory so that you could be able to understand why I'm suffering from depression as well today. After I had my C-section, things seemed like they were going better. I was in a ton of pain, felt like a truck damn near hit me, and it was hard to recover. But I ended up developing postpartum preeclampsia because I had preeclampsia from my first pregnancy. I didn't even know that that was possible. So when I was being discharged from the hospital, they're like, your pressure just keeps going up, 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 up. We have to give you a magnesium sulfate treatment, and they also put me in labetalol pills. From that moment on, and full disclosure, I'm sorry if I get emotional because this topic is still very, very, very sensitive for me. I still haven't gone through everything, but I will get into it more deeper. Once that happened, I was completely numb coming out of the hospital. I just had a baby. I had gestational diabetes. I got postpartum preeclampsia. I was on a new medication, and I just couldn't understand why these things were happening to me. I lost over 40 pounds the first week that I came home because Literally, I could not eat anything. I had no appetite. But besides me not having an appetite, I was fearful that everything that I would eat would kill me. The doctors told me before I left the hospital, be careful. There's women that have this condition and they stroke out at home, have heart attacks, seizures, and I was scared for my own well-being. I literally stopped eating for weeks, and that's how I managed to lose so much weight. Right now, to this day, I lost 50 pounds because of quarantine and stuff like that. I managed to lose more weight, but to me, the weight mattered, but at the same time, I would have loved to lose weight naturally instead of living in fear my whole life. So fast forward to like 2 months after I gave birth. I remember going to my postpartum, you know, when they tell you what birth control you can take and all of those different things. I was literally in tears. When I tell you that I couldn't identify what was wrong with me, it was just a horrible feeling. I was numb, but at the same time, I was anxious. I was scared of literally everything. I could not be left alone. I felt like I was gonna die at every moment, either from my hypertension or from an anxiety attack or anything. Mind you, I'm a second-time mom. This is not new to me to raise a baby or take care of a baby by myself. I've done this before. And it was so difficult. They put me on an antidepressant for postpartum, the most common one, low dosage. It ended up not working. So I started therapy shortly after, about a month after. And I have to say that therapy has helped me identify a lot of my triggers. It has helped me in a lot of ways. But still to this day, I'm suffering from anxious thoughts. Our environment, our world doesn't help with what's happening. And I just want everyone in the world to be aware of the warning signs. There was a lot of things, traumatic things that happened in my pregnancy, like illness, that triggered my postpartum depression and anxiety. And I'm still dealing with it. 7 months. 7 months have passed and I'm still dealing with these feelings. I even have to see a psychiatrist soon to see if I could be put on medication for my anxiety disorder because it's getting that bad, you know? I feel like there's a very negative stigma behind postpartum depression. People don't want to talk about this topic at all. I feel like now we're becoming more aware of it and understanding it better. But this goes for partners as well. Men don't understand, or women that do not give birth and actually go through this don't understand how it feels like to go through postpartum depression. There's so many different avenues and different ways that it could be expressed. That's why some people don't see the warning signs. Sometimes it's a connectivity situation, like between you and the baby. I can't have a connection with each other. Sometimes it's just you crying all of the time and not having a reason why, or thinking that you're gonna die, or thinking that you're anxious, or not having, you lose the interest that you have on normal things that will make you happy. And these are all things that when having a baby, you need to realize, like, is this normal for me? Like, we understand, right, that you just had really big event happen because the baby it's a new person, it's a new thing. The whole world is different. Even if you already had a kid, it's still a different experience because once you have this second kid or first kid, it changes the dynamics of the family completely, right? And I just remember feeling so numb. I was suffering from brain fog, which is like you can't think at all. Poor concentration. I lost a lot of my memory. Like, you would tell me something today, I would forget it tomorrow. So very poor memory. I was not sleeping at all. I was having very hard time sleeping. And when I would sleep, I would wake up in a panic, like that, literally hyperventilating. I'll wake up every single time that I fell asleep, no matter what I tried to do. And it's important to get that help, because if you leave something lingering for a really long period of time, it's just going to be lingering. You're not helping the situation. You're not helping yourself. None of those things. I'm happy that when I went to my postpartum checkup, I told my doctor, I need help. Like something is wrong, something is not right. And although I don't know if I'm actually depressive, I'm more anxious all the time, 24/7, no matter what I do, try, or anything like that. You know, there's still things, you know, that happen, and they go hand in hand. Sometimes you feel sad one day, and the other day you feel anxious. Like today, I felt more anxious than depressive, right? And it could interchange in the same way. But we need to be able to find out how can we help these mothers that are struggling, right? Get them the help that they need. Talk to their doctor if they need to be admitted to the behavior department, then let that be so. There's so many people, there's statistics all around that if you look for it, you will find it. There's many mothers that go home with a baby and they commit suicide because they are not given the help that they need. I'm telling you this 7 months after I gave birth, and I'm still not where I was 7 months ago when I gave birth, right? I felt like I'm also suffering from PTSD with everything that happened at the hospital and everything that happened throughout my pregnancy, that has kind of like scarred me to the extent that I don't even know if I will ever have another kid again. It's that serious today. Some days I'm like, you know, maybe I will have another kid, and then there's other days and I'm like, oof, if I didn't make it through this one and I'm having such a hard time, what makes me possibly think that I could ever get through this again, right? These are some of the things that helped me get by. I was always constantly talking to anyone that would listen about my daily struggles. Like, you know, it's just so hard doing this, that, all at the same time. I had a lot of friends that I would confide in, come to realize that you have to be very selective with what information you give to certain people, because some people aren't there for your healing. They're there for your destruction. And I also learned that there's people that act like your friends and they really aren't. Your best interest isn't theirs. And I have a best friend that I've known since I was 5 years old, and she knows who she is, and she's probably watching this because she's my biggest supporter. But I would talk to her every single day or every other day on FaceTime for hours. We would clean the house, take care of our kids, and that would make me feel good. She also had some kind of form of postpartum depression. She's like, you know, I understand, and that's beneficial to your healing because you need someone that's understanding to your situation. Number 2 would be identifying the feelings and realizing how I was feeling. I couldn't really, at first, I couldn't understand what was happening to my body and to my mind. I was like, I just feel like cloudy, like I can't focus. And when I started looking it up, like months later, I realized that I had brain fog the entire time. And I still suffer from it right now. I still have poor concentration on certain days. It's really bad because I have so much going on. I have like a hard job. I have to take care of 2 kids. And I have everything else going on in my life that I need to be able to do my daily tasks. You know, those are important. So Googling, oh, this symptom that I have, is this a warning sign? You know what I'm saying? Getting resources, number 3, from a doctor or OBGYN. That was the most beneficial for me, because the minute that I told my doctor that, she went up and enrolled me into behavioral sciences. And those are the people that they're psychiatrists. They are people that help you with therapy. They identify what's happening with you, if you need medication, if you don't need medication, and how they could be of assistance to get you back to where you need to be. So they give you the therapy, the books, medication. You also should work on a good diet. I'm not saying you have to eat clean and healthy every single day, but I would say one thing that helped me was eating a lot of vegetables, limiting carbs, and trying my best. And that's one of the reasons why I lost another like 14 pounds after losing all that extra baby weight. just trying to work on myself and try to help me get a little more healthier. Getting love and support from your family members and your friends are very important, because if you don't have that support team in your corner, there's no way that you're going to be able to heal and get past the troubles that you have gone through. I have to say that one thing that I started doing after this experience is communicating even more with my boyfriend. I would go times, and I'm very closed when it comes to my emotions to my partner in general. I've always been like that, and it's not a fear thing. It's just like, sometimes I'm like, what if I say something and it's gonna make them upset? That's literally what I think. I shouldn't be thinking like that, of course, because if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, they should be supportive of your feelings, right? But this is how I felt, genuinely. And I would say having those kind of talks with your family members are very important, very important. Another thing that has really helped me is prayer. I know that everybody in the world is not religious, but you could either do prayer or meditation. Sitting in your couch, sitting on the floor on a yoga mat, literally for 10 minutes, listening to relaxation music or praying to God will help you immensely, because I realize that when I take time to unwind from my baby and from my children and my house chores and my job and all of the responsibilities that a mother has, it literally helps you to get back to your focus. You know what I'm saying? If I take those 10 minutes at nighttime, I will sleep better. If I take those 10 minutes in the middle of the day, it will help me get through the day if I'm doing something that is overwhelming. You know what I mean? And I've literally, my relationship with God has gotten so much better because of this experience, because I'm able to literally pour out my troubles unto God. I'm able to express the feelings that I'm having. Even when I don't even know what I'm feeling, God knows what I'm feeling. And to me, that's very important for my healing. Because I'm like, God, you know how I feel. I can't express it to you, but you know what I'm feeling. You know what I'm doing. You know what to do in order to help me get past this. So that's definitely a tip. Knowing that you're not alone. I know that's so cliche, right? Because at this moment, somebody could call me and be like, yo, Angelica, you know you're not alone in this situation. You got A, B, C, D. And I'm like, But I don't feel that. I could literally be in a room of 100 people and I would feel like I'm alone. That's one of my weaknesses. I feel lonely a lot of the time. My kids could be with me and I feel lonely. And I can't explain it, but it's like, know that you're not the only one struggling with this. There's I think the statistic is like one in every 7 mothers will go through postpartum depression. I was reading it up this morning and I was just like, it's not a very high number, but it's a number. And it's still a lot of people that are unaccounted for. There's many people that go through postpartum depression and they don't get the help that they need. And they have these feelings for 7-10 years after. I knew that I wanted to get past that bridge and use my story as a testimony, because it's very important. You know what I'm saying? I want to make a video dedicated exclusively to postpartum preeclampsia, because I feel like when I was looking for it online, I could not find any resources or any videos concerning this condition. There was like maybe 5. I rewatched them and I'm like, God, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? That's what I would think, because I'm like, why? But why, God? But why? That's what I would think. I would say that I feel, in my opinion, that the medical system failed me, because I would go to the doctor every week and I would tell them that I have anxious thoughts, and for some reason nobody would be like, let's get this chick evaluated for depression or anxiety. It started well before I gave birth. It's just the birthing process heightened every feeling and emotion that I had. At first I felt numb, and now I feel anxious. Those are all feelings and symptoms of depression and anxiety. And if I would have maybe gotten the help that I needed prior to me giving birth, my experiences and my feelings today may be different. I may have had counseling throughout my pregnancy to deal with the issues that I had even prior to me giving birth, because I was already anxious before I gave birth. Therefore, things just got worse. It went from medium to large, or medium to high. It didn't get any better, because if you just putting trauma against trauma and trauma, what is gonna happen? You're just gonna have a bigger problem at the end of the day. And lastly, what I want to talk about, how I feel today. I have to say that although I don't feel the way that I felt 7 months ago, because 7 months ago I couldn't even imagine myself going back to work or doing my job there, for that matter. I'm working from home right now, but I didn't feel like I was able to even concentrate on anything. You couldn't give me a task and I would do the whole thing, unless it was house chores. You know, those things come automatic. Cleaning, mopping, washing clothes, cooking. But when it comes to detail-oriented work or reading a book, I could not even do that. Give me a paragraph to read. I couldn't do that. So I would say from then to now, I don't have a perfect recovery journey as of right now, right? I can say that from 7 months ago to now, I do see myself in a better place. I do have my days. I can't lie to you. I have days that I'm super anxious, off the wall, that I'm just like, it's constant panic attacks. And then I have days that I'm super chill, that I'm just like, you know, it feels like a regular day today. And that's what makes me worried, because I'm like, has it ended? And there's no end date to this. It's just me continuing to work on the problems that I have and continuing to help myself get to that place where I want to reach, that I'm going to feel good, that I know that things are going to get better. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I wanted to make this video. Number one, to say that I've been struggling lately is an understatement. I have been struggling. I have been having anxious thoughts, but I'm working through them. And I just want any mom, or any person for that matter, that is struggling through depression and anxiety, to literally go to the doctor and please get some help. If you get the help that you need at a young age, or early on from when the trauma or the situation starts, you will be able to get a grip on it. I'm talking about things that happened to me 10 years ago that are still affecting my life today. And I've never dealt with them because I didn't have those resources, because I didn't have that help. When you have that help, it's time. If you have health insurance, go to the doctor and ask for a referral for behavioral services. Even if you have to pay $20 a week to get therapy, it's important for your mental health, and is important for a lot of other factors. I'm very big on mental health. I did human services in college, and I'm all about that. And I focus on it because I feel like there's a lack thereof. And we just need to get everything together and say, listen, we could help each other out. We could prevent suicides. We could prevent depression. We could lessen anxiety symptoms by doing X, Y, and Z. And I'm here for the comments. If you have a question or anything like that, leave me a comment or private message me, and I will definitely try to help you the best that I can. But to even be here as a friend, those things matter. You know, to have someone that you can relate to is important during these journeys. I hope you guys are staying safe during these times, and that you have a lovely week. I'll see y'all later, guys.